All right, so what we wanted to do now is talk to you a little bit about how SOTI is implementing AI within our products. We have something, as I mentioned, called Stella. And I wanted to also talk very quickly a little bit about what are some of the projects that we're working on internally. So you can kind of hear and see some real hands-on projects that are actually happening inside our organization. All right, but before I need to do that, I need to explain to you guys a little bit about what do our software products actually do. So this is what we call the SOTI ONE Platform. This is an integrated suite of products. Our customer is the IT manager and operations teams of an organization, and they're looking to manage all the different types of devices that they have. And it starts with that blue the blue product there. It's called SOTI MobiControl. SOTI MobiControl essentially is our mission critical control center. So from a software perspective, I log in and I can see all of my different devices that I have that are running on Windows, iOS, Android, Chrome OS, Linux, all the different operating systems. You have a single pane of glass that allows you to manage all these devices. And when I mean manage, I mean set up security on them, deploy applications, upgrade the operating system, deploy other content onto these devices so that the users of those devices have everything that they need ready to go as soon as they grab those devices, whether it's a laptop, desktop, or a rugged device, or any type of device. Now, once customers are using these devices, then we introduce something called XSight, which is a diagnostic intelligence solution. Diagnostics is referring to the idea that when a problem occurs, when I have an issue, I need to remotely support that user in real time. So I want to be able to remote control into the device and see what is happening on their screen. Can I take control of the device? Can I press the physical buttons of the device using my mouse and keyboard, all done remotely? And can I generate a ServiceNow incident, track all of these problems? This is all done inside the diagnostic portion. The intelligence is operational intelligence. I want to capture historically what has been done from an application usage, network usage, data usage, battery consumption. I want to track all of these things related to that device. And this is where we go back in time and we can see historical data for the last, say, 12 months. And then I can predict future behavior. That's what XSight is. Now, if you can believe it, some companies still use a lot of paper and pen processes, a lot of manual processes. What SOTI Snap does is you just type in a prompt and you say, hey, I want to build a forklift inspection application. And right away, within a matter of just a few seconds, you will actually get a mobile application ready to go that can be deployed on your devices in literally a few seconds. So no longer is building mobile apps very, very hard. It's pretty easy. It's a drag and drop type interface. Next up is SOTI Connect. This is our printer management solution. So in our world, a lot of companies are using labels, they're printing, they're shipping a lot of boxes. And so when they need to ship, they need to put a label onto those boxes. So printers that print labels are extremely mission critical to an organization, or receipts if you're in retail. So printer management becomes very, very important, because if the printers stop printing, then there's no shipments happening, there's no operations actually running. So we have a printer management solution. And we also have something called SOTI Identity. This is an identity management solution. If those of you that are familiar with OneLogin or Okta or Ping, or we integrate with things like Entra ID, Active Directory, LDAPs, all these kind of tools. So we have our own identity management solution that allows the users, you configure users and you say what applications do they want to use, and then we generate and offer multi-factor authentication as well. And finally, we've got SOTI Pulse. SOTI Pulse is our community. It's our online help. It's where you go as a discussion forum, a marketplace. It's where you learn a lot more about our products. So in total, this is what we call the SOTI ONE Platform. And what I wanted to do next was just kind of give you a quick overview, but hear from an actual customer that's using our products today.
Greater Reykjavík Fire and Rescue Service is a fire and rescue service for the capital area in Iceland. So everything about fire and rescue, we do it. Making decisions based on data are better decisions than making decisions on guessing. SOTI MobiControl is a great help to provide remote support to all the ambulances and the fire trucks. Very important to use SOTI to keep these computers up to date, keep the apps up to date, provide support. The most dangerous scenes that we respond to are the fire in a ship going with a helicopter. With SOTI, the remote control application, we can support the ambulance on the road, driving even. Before SOTI, we had to locate the ambulance and drive to the fire station or where it was and help them. Or they had to come to the main station. As you can see, I can use this map to locate the ambulances, the fire engines, and the firefighters. And if I need more detailed data, I can right-click on the map and get all the data I need. In the ambulances, we have computers in the front. So when they are going for an incident or whatever service they are providing, they get every information in the front of the vehicle, in the computer. Very important to use SOTI. It provides them great information, routing to the incident or the point where they need to go, and giving them information about the patient, chest pain or consciousness or what car accident or what it is. What are they expecting to see when they come? We know exactly how long we are responding. That's a big thing for the data management and make the service better. Without SOTI, it would be difficult to keep this all up and running 24/7.
Okay, so that's just one of our customers, one of our 17,000 enterprise customers. What I wanted to show you there was the importance of real-time visibility. And this is kind of where our product comes in. So I wanted to actually show you what the product itself looks like so you can get an idea. What we're looking at is this idea of a map. And I can see for real-time visibility, let's imagine these circles that are in different colors like red, green, and blue, and all of these different colors here. What they represent are devices that may be inside trucks. And the colors represent different topics that I'm interested in. So for example, if it's a driver, maybe I'm interested in the speed of the driver and how fast are they going. Or maybe I'm interested in the signal strength of the device, or maybe I'm interested in a specific application and extracting data from that application. And I want to make sure that the color code is, if this person's speeding all the time, I want to make it red. So that's what those colors are. Those blue drops represent indoor, inside a location. So I can actually just tap right on the blue teardrop there, and I can zoom right into my store as an example. This could be a retail store. And this retail store has devices that are moving around. So maybe these are devices that are held by a store associate, and they're performing their task while doing their job. So if I were to tap on one of these particular devices, I would then see a bunch of information like the Wi-Fi signal. In this case, I'm seeing the delivery status. This particular store associate's behind by 15 minutes. Charlie's his name. He's got 15 items in his basket. So what is Charlie doing right now? Charlie is performing something called a buy online, pick up in store. That's kind of what this model is, or this example. And what you'll notice at the bottom is there's a chart. Let's imagine Charlie had a problem maybe a few hours ago where he said, my device is not working. Well, how do we know how to solve that problem? Well, we noticed a couple of hours ago at, say, 7 o'clock in this case, we see this chart at the bottom. We can see his Wi-Fi signal strength is in fact going up and down and up and down. And we can see this over the whole course of time. So the question is, yeah, you did have a problem, Charlie, but I see it happen at 7 o'clock. But now the question is, where were you at 7 o'clock if you had a Wi-Fi problem? So what we could do is we can actually turn on something called a heat map. With this heat map, I can actually track over the course of the last few hours, where has Charlie been? And so now what I see is I can see exactly where Charlie's been moving. And in this case, the topic that I was interested in is Wi-Fi signal strength. So this is pretty powerful for a customer of ours to say, yes, you're right. This problem is in fact happening in that bottom left corner. But now the question becomes, well, is this just Charlie's device, or is everybody experiencing this problem? And that's kind of where we can turn on something called spot tracking. Spot tracking allows us to see whether all devices are exhibiting those problems or not. And look at that. Every single device is having a problem near that bottom left-hand corner called the cafe. So now we understand in a matter of just a few seconds what the problem is, that we know it's a Wi-Fi problem, and it's exhibiting by everybody. But what else can I do around that area? Well, I can actually turn on something called network links. So I want to see where this device and which access point this device is connected to. So those gray dotted lines are showing you access points that the device can see, and the blue dotted line is showing you the access point. If you guys are familiar with access points, it's kind of like one of these access points in the room. Which one it's actually connected to right now. And so now I see that it is in fact that particular device, that access point. So what can I do next? I can click on that access point and I can get more details. So now what I've shown you is the ability to troubleshoot problems not only in real time, but I can go back in time and I can see issues and resolve problems that otherwise our customers said would take them weeks or months to do. They would try to find out where the signal strength is weak and strong. They'd walk around. They don't know how to solve these problems, especially across maybe their 500 or 1,200 retail stores. Now, you'll notice that there's actually this other blue icon, which is a camera icon. So what I could do is I can close this and I can just tap on any of these icons in real time, and I can get real-time visibility into what's happening. And yes, these people are fighting over a wine bottle, if you can believe it. Just a joke, obviously. But what the point here is I want to show you that we can actually get real-time visibility and tap into even the cameras to say what's going on in this store right now. Now, hopefully that's pretty cool. We can actually not only do this indoor, we can actually go outdoor as well. And so in the case of outdoor, I just zoom out, and now I can just tap on that same thing and turn on spot tracking. But this time I'm actually looking at cellular signal strength, not Wi-Fi, because I'm outside. And so here we see in the bottom left-hand corner yet another problem. Now, why is this a big problem with cellular? Because maybe as an organization, I do a lot of work in this region. If my cellular signal strength is not good enough, then I can't perform my operations that I'm performing on a regular basis at the right speed. And so this could be an issue. So again, similar to what I showed you earlier, I can actually turn on the network links and see what tower is this device connected to. The blue dotted line shows me it's connected to this green tower over here. And then I can tap on that tower, and now I get more information about that specific carrier. So in this case, I'm remotely here, and I can go and see what's happening in Canada. I can see that this specific user is on Rogers, and they're hitting a bad signal strength. So this is the power of remote support and remote visibility. But I can actually go one step further, because what am I going to do? Am I going to tell Rogers, the carrier in this case, hey, the signal strength's pretty bad? They're going to say, no, it's not. You got to prove it. So what we can do here is we can actually go even one step further, tap on the device, and perform a diagnostic test. Something that you guys might be familiar with. You can go to Google and just say run diagnostic test. This is the idea, but I'm doing it all remotely. So I can pick a server and I can say run the speed test, and right away you'll see that this tool is able to tell you exactly how fast the speed is of the network that this user is experiencing. So this is an example of just how we can go in and troubleshoot in the necessity for real-time visibility. I just wanted to show you guys another one of our customers. Does anybody use delivery apps and order food online? Which one do you guys use? Can you yell it out? Everybody uses Swiggy? Zomato, okay. So in Europe, there's a company called Delivery Hero. They've actually worked with a bunch of different food delivery companies, and they're one of the largest actually in the world. And what they do is they use SOTI to help them manage all their devices. But I want you to hear from them.
At Delivery Hero, we always want to create an amazing takeaway experience for our customer. This is why we exist. And we want to make sure our restaurant partners can focus on what they can do best. This is cooking the food. And they don't have the time to think about any technology, order transmission things. They just need a solution that just works. Growth is part of everything here at Delivery Hero. We are operating in more than 40 countries and managing more than 50,000 devices with SOTI MobiControl. At Delivery Hero, we grow very, very fast. And when I joined the company 5 years ago, we were 200 people. And now we grew to more than 1,000 in our Berlin office alone. We deliver more than 1,000 meals every minute, coming from over 250,000 partner restaurants in more than 40 countries. We had more than 80 different device models, and we didn't know what's going on the devices. We had basically no insights, and that was a big challenge for us. We acquired many companies over the years. All of them were coming with their own order transmission hardware, and then we decided to have one single solution for mostly all countries to make sure we have a reliable hardware setup, and that's why we decided to go with the Lenovo Tab 4 devices. To get our devices ready, we are installing MobiControl, and then we are adding a SIM card, putting it in a onboarding package together with the printer and ship it to the restaurants. The device enrollment process with our old management solution was quite complicated, very manual, so it takes around 4.5 minutes for a device to be configured. And with SOTI MobiControl, we were able to reduce this time to around 7 seconds. Some weeks ago, we enrolled 3,000 devices in one day, and it just worked. We were looking for a solution that gives us a full control over the devices and also provides some insights. And we wanted to make sure that the enrollment process is as easy as possible. And we found all this with SOTI MobiControl. The next chapter for our company is collecting device information and use this information to make sure we have full understanding of our device fleet and we know what's going on the devices. And in case of any problems, we can quickly identify them. We can make sure this doesn't happen again. And overall, this helps us to improve our amazing takeaway experience for the customers. I've been using SOTI MobiControl for over 2 years now. I'm managing 50,000 devices and I need a solution that I can trust and that lets me sleep at night.
Okay, so that was Julian from Delivery Hero. This video, by the way, was in 2019, just before COVID hit. Can you guys guess how much this company has grown over the last few years? And how many devices, by the way, did they say they manage? 50,000. How many do you think they now manage today? Not you, Mustafa. Just take a guess. Anybody? It's close to 650,000. 650,000 devices. So they went and grew 10x what they were doing. They place tablets inside these restaurants and they need a way to manage all of them all over the world. So this is a huge kind of scenario here. But I want to plant in your mind a question that we should discuss maybe in the networking session a little bit later is, how could AI help this company out? Or how could AI help out SHS? How do you guys think it could happen? But with that said, I want to do a little bit of a fun thing now. Let's do a little quiz, all right? I want you guys to see if you can yell out which tool this is. Ready?
Not good.
Okay, good job. Great job. Okay, what's next? Grok, very good. Claude was the first one. Okay, what's next? ChatGPT. A lot of people knew that one. Okay. Let's do the next one here. Gemini, yes, my favorite actually. All right, what's next?
DeepSeek.
Oh, a lot of people know DeepSeek. Okay, good to hear that. And yes, Meta, very good. A lot of people get stumped on that one. And the last one, what do you guys think? Yeah, Copilot. Okay, good. Everyone's awake. I'm happy you guys are awake. So the reason why I just wanted to show you guys this is a lot of tools. How many of you guys are using one of these tools? yeah, where's Bob? Bob's not on there. Send me Bob's logo, please. So a lot of you guys are using these tools kind of in an everyday use case. But when we thought about intelligence and adding AI into our products, we didn't want to just bolt on AI into the products themselves and just say, okay, we've got AI. We actually wanted to, as someone I was talking to earlier, he said, you have to think about what are the business problems that these users are trying to solve and think about it from that perspective, which I thought was really important. And so for our customers, what organizations need is they need timely delivered insights. And why do they need this? Because they want to have better decision-making capabilities. They need to have faster issue resolution times, and they want to stay secure and compliant. Mustafa talked a little bit about this idea of security and compliance being so important. We know about it from the healthcare stories as well. Compliance is a big factor for many of our organizations as well. And in this age of data, there is no shortage of data. And what happens is, what you end up getting is a lot of noise. This noise is massive. And so for you to try and kind of tackle this noise is really hard. And on the way from you being as an administrator to kind of gaining insights, you have to generate and get expertise. And expertise is required if you want to actually get insights. So is this idea of scattered data. Data's all over the place. You can get some data from Bob, you can get some data from a bunch of different places, and there's information overflow. Once I've got all this data, there's an abundance of data that's coming in. And so you're spending more time just navigating all of this data. So for this reason, we introduced Stella. Stella is by the way, this isn't about Stella Artois, the beer. We named Stella for a different reason. Does anyone speak Italian? Does anyone know what Stella means in Italian? Nobody? I spoke to somebody out there just before and I explained Stella. Okay, so Stella, what it means in Italian is a star. And so that's the logo in the middle. And what we want to do is just like a star in the night sky, Stella will be the guiding light, that North Star, to give you all the clarity and precision in your mobility operations. So I want to give you guys an example of where Stella could be used. Let's take this company called Rocket Co. Superstore. And Rocket Co., let's imagine that they have 1,200 stores globally. They have an IT staff, multiple people that are helping them administer all of these different stores. And we've got a team here. So this team is Ria. She's an expert at MobiControl and all of our SOTI ONE products. And she knows a lot. She's called the veteran. The newbie, Daniel Brown, never been using our product ever before. And then there's the firefighter, Darius. So I want to kind of walk you through examples of where these people would be using kind of our products. So in one case, Ria here, let's imagine she's got her team and they've got something called a lockdown configuration. A lockdown configuration just means that you can use our tool to lock down a device to a set of applications. So you decide what that is, you put it into a profile. But Emily, Brian, and Jordan here, they have no access. For some reason, they're not able to access and administer all of those lockdown profiles for those stores that they manage. So what does Ria do? Ria's a veteran. She knows exactly what to do on our product. Her first thing is she's going to go in and determine what roles those particular users are a part of. Then she's going to go in and find the lockdown profiles in another section of our product. Then she's going to go in and find the roles that are assigned to those particular profiles. I'm not trying to get too technical for you. The whole point here is there's a lot of navigation. You got to go into different areas and different parts of the product. So what could Ria do? With Stella, she could just ask a question. So what does that look like? In the top left corner there, we've got the Stella icon. So what I'll do is I'll tap on that icon, and just like other tools, we've got a nice little chat bot here. And in here, she can ask her question. So in this case, she wants to know what role is Emily, Brian, and Jordan a part of. So what this is doing is, this isn't accessing external data. This is accessing her data that's in her MobiControl environment. And now she can see exactly that these people play level 2 admin roles, but Jordan's is missing. So right away, she can know exactly what the problem is in the case of Jordan. That's one problem that she can identify. The next question that she might want to ask is related to the level 2 admins and what access they have to the lockdown profiles. So here she can say which lockdown profiles do not give access to the level 2 administrators. And when she gets that, she'll actually be able to get a nice list, a table of all of the different lockdown profiles. So this will give her the answers that she's looking for. And these are all clickable links, so you can click and go right into the product, change the settings, and you're done. And this is kind of the idea here, is that we want to make it super easy. Yes, you can navigate, but what we're really trying to offer is the ability to unlock clarity with enhanced configuration visibility. So this is Ria's role. We can just let her ask questions and perform those tasks. Next up, let's talk about Daniel. Daniel's brand new, and Daniel's been told by his boss, you got to go deploy this app to the devices, do it at a specific set of devices. I don't want to do it to all devices, and do it at a specific time, and then generate a report and show me what you've done. So Daniel's eager. He's an eager beaver. So what he's going to do is he's going to go and look up, and he's going to use Gemini or one of those tools, even Google, and he's going to do research. He's going to find out, how do I go and deploy these apps? And what hopefully will happen is he gets taken to our SOTI Pulse. If you remember, I said that's our online help. He's going to be taken there. He's going to go and find out how to do all these things. Then he's going to actually deploy it. He's going to gather all the data. Now that he's deployed the applications, he's going to now get all the data for the report that he needs to make. So he's going to go into the apps dashboard. We have a nice dashboard that allows you to see all apps, which devices they've deployed to. Then he's going to want to verify that with his device dashboard. So he's going to see all of those things and say, okay, I got to take data from this system, take data from this other part, and then generate a report. And hopefully he's really good at all of that and he's done his job properly. So instead, what could he do? He could just ask Stella to do all of that task. He can actually just come in here and he can say, let me tap on Stella and let me just ask the question that I was going to ask and go and look up. But he's a bit tech savvy. He actually sees this microphone. He says, I'll just use my voice.
How do I deploy an application to a specific set of devices? And how do I deploy it at a certain time?
So he's asking multiple questions and he's going to go in and get more data around the same thing. So anything that he had to do to go and navigate into those third-party places and find out, he can just ask here and it'll give him that data right away. Now, the next thing that he's going to do is he actually had to generate a report and he had to go in different parts. Well, in this case, he could just ask the question, or actually rather just say generate report, right? So he'll say generate a report showing all devices where the Zoho inventory app version 2.6.1 is installed. And now he says, I don't want to just any report. Here are all the exact things that I want to capture because this is what my boss is interested in. The point here is that when he gets that report, he didn't have to go into the UI. SOTI didn't have to generate and create new products or new capabilities or new custom reporting capabilities. He can actually just use this and we don't have to change anything in our product because now he can actually just use Stella to capture all of that information and generate the report. He can even favorite this request. He can say, I want to have this on a weekly basis. All of those things are possible now with Stella. So in summary here, with Darius, I can actually empower teams with real-time support, and I can actually meet the business needs with all the custom reporting that he wants. Anything that you want to ask in our SOTI product, you can ask now. So he's done. What about that last case? Darius. Darius is a firefighter. His job is to go in and look at what are issues that are happening right now. And he's heard that there's people that are using devices, but they're not lasting a full shift. So what does Darius do? The first thing he thinks about is ServiceNow and going through different incidents and saying, hey, can I look into all of the different incidents that have taken place where people are reporting issues related to batteries not lasting or devices not lasting a full shift? But you know what? A lot of end users, they don't report problems. They just go and grab a different device. So he then goes into something called our battery dashboard. And here he learns, and he has these charts that tell him, hey, this is how many charge cycles all your batteries are at. This is the batteries that are getting too cold or too hot. This is the health of your battery. But Darius is not a technical guy. He can't go through all of those particular areas. And not only that, he wants to do it by store. So he would have to go to one store and then another store, and he'd have to kind of navigate through all that. So what do you think Darius could do? Use Stella, exactly. Good job, Mustafa. He could just ask. When he asks the question, he's going to go into the same idea of Stella, and he's going to say, okay, let me ask a few questions, or just tell me, what are the poor performing batteries? Now, that's a pretty generic question, and he might get a generic answer, because poor performing is just a vague term. What does it actually mean? So when he gets a response back, Stella's going to explain to him exactly how it calculated what poor performing is from its perspective. Capacity below 80%. And if he's not sure kind of what it did to calculate it, he can always see and click on the response insights to find out exactly what Stella did to get to that answer. So now he's got that. He can always give a thumbs up and thumbs down. The point here is, with Stella, he can stay ahead with operational intelligence insights. So we're able to actually ask a lot of questions now about the operations, and our customers are really trying to be proactive rather than just being reactive. So Stella gives them that ability. So that's a little bit about Stella. I wanted to talk, I mentioned in the panel that we have a lot of tools internally. So we heard about Bob. We have SOTI GPT. So SOTI GPT is our internal repository. I told you guys I took this little course on 100X engineers, and it actually taught me to build an internal kind of RAG system to help with all the internal data sources. So what is SOTI GPT? It's essentially a tool just like any other GPT tool. You could do things like, say, create an image, create a video, create a PowerPoint, pretty cool. But it also has these data sources on the top right there. And I can pick any area of our business, from sales to marketing to HR to legal to product to Jira's in here, Salesforce, and I can just ask any question I want about any topic that I'm interested in, and it will come here, and people can now use this as their source of truth. It has access to all of our different SharePoint sites, PowerPoints, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents. It has access to Salesforce data, which we use for our customer relationship management capabilities, as well as support cases. It has access to Jira, so we can actually go and ask questions about specific tickets that we're looking at, feature requests. It has access to corporate marketing. It has access to legal. Now, how did we add all these data sources? We did this over time. And initially, there was only one checkbox. It was for the sales team, and then the support team said they wanted to use it. So this has grown over time. We get feedback. As we all know, AI is not perfect. As we get more feedback and we see more people adopting it, we start adding in more. But the point here is, we've had our own employees start saying that, hey, this would have taken me 3 weeks to complete, and now I can get it done in literally a few seconds. So it's a huge cost savings for our support team, our sales organization, our marketing team. Everybody's starting to use this internally to save on time, and it's really helping them out, even generating new reports. Another project that we were working on is a crash dump analysis. So for those of you that have software, you guys know that sometimes your software crashes, right? Yeah? Yeah, so ours does too, every once in a while, hopefully not too often. But what we did is we started to kind of realize that, okay, you know what? Maybe we should leverage AI in some ways. And so we created a dump analysis service. So what happens is, if for some reason a customer's environment crashed, then what we would do is we would actually detect that dump. It would generate a dump file. That dump file could be 100 gigabytes. And what we do is we run an alert system like a Windows debug diagnostic tool. It will generate a report. Once we generate that report, we can get it analyzed. It gives you a stack trace. We can take that stack trace of code, and we can now leverage Copilot or some other tool like OpenAI, and we can go right into the code, and it can actually give us a recommendation of what exactly we need to fix. So this type of kind of troubleshooting was taking our developers, a few weeks sometimes, depending on how long it would take for them to get all of this stuff, and we've automated the entire flow. So now, as soon as a crash happens, we're able to know exactly what to do and resolve that problem. Super helpful for us. Another one that is really important to us is our cloud team. What did they do? They created their own chatbot called Jigbot. And what they use it for is to help manage all the different cloud customers that we have. Our software, by the way, can work on-premise. If you want to download it, you can do that. Or it can work in the cloud where we host it. So in this case, Azhar Khan here says, how many servers are created in the content management system today? So what he's doing is he's getting real-time information without having to go through each of the different cloud servers. Again, it's about navigating and getting clarity. So this is what they use it for. They want to understand what's happening in real time. I want to give you one more example, which is around support. With support, we actually created something called a support case summarization. So imagine a support technician has gone, maybe they've helped a user out and it took a few days. With this tool, we can now automate the entire, summary. This is not documentation that any user has built. The summary is like an executive summary. So we can pinpoint the exact problems. And we've done this across all of our cases so that we can now categorize the types of problems that customers are having. We also can then leverage this for our product management team so they can see what are the most common things that our customers are calling about. We also do sentiment analysis. So we take the transcript of a call and we can take that call and we can analyze it and we can say, hey, is this customer okay? Are they happy? Or are they sad or angry? And what can we do further? We can understand why they were actually angry. What words were they using as an example? And this sentiment analysis helps us pinpoint and focus on those customers that are unhappy, because those are the ones that we really want to focus on and say, okay, let's make sure that we've addressed all of your problems.